Okay, let's just jump right in. Does it ever feel like all the projects happening in your organization are kind of like ships sailing in completely different directions? One's headed north, another south, and you're just crossing your fingers hoping they don't collide. Well, what if you could get that entire fleet perfectly aligned, all sailing together toward one big strategic goal? That right there is the whole promise of a project management office, or PMO.
First things first, let's clear something up that trips a lot of people up. A project manager, their job is to deliver one specific project. On time, on budget, you know the drill. Their whole world is that single initiative. But a project management office, it operates at a much higher altitude. It's not about just one project. It's about making sure all the projects across the entire organization are working in harmony. And honestly, this analogy just nails it. The project manager is the captain, right? They're down in the details of their own ship, handling the crew, navigating the storms, just trying to get to their destination. The PMO, though, is like the admiral's office. It isn't steering any single ship. Its job is to make sure the whole fleet is strategically positioned, has the right resources, and is sailing in the right direction to, well, win the war.
So with that picture of the admiral's office in your head, let's get a little more formal. Let's break down what this command center actually is and why it can be such a game changer for any company.
So here's the textbook definition. It's a centralized team that sets the standards for how projects get done. But what does that really mean? It means they provide the tools, they write the playbook, and, this is the most important part, they act as the glue that connects all that project work back to the company's biggest, most important goals.
And this is where it all clicks. At the very top, you've got the big picture strategy for the whole organization. The PMO acts like a transmission, taking that high-level strategy and cascading it all the way down, through portfolios, through programs, and finally, right down to the individual projects that teams are working on every single day. It makes sure that the daily grind is actually moving the whole company forward.
Okay, so you get the why, but what about the how? I mean, how do you actually build one of these things? Let's get practical and look at a blueprint for taking a PMO from just an idea to something that makes a real impact.
So, you're ready to roll up your sleeves? It can feel like a massive undertaking, for sure. But if you break it down into a clear plan, it's totally manageable. Let's walk through those essential steps.
Here is a 6-step game plan that pulls from the best advice out there. Step 1. Define your vision. What exact problems are you trying to solve? Be specific. 2. You have to secure executive buy-in. Without it, you are dead in the water, period. 3. Create the charter. Think of this as your constitution. 4. Define the scope and the standards everyone will follow. 5. Staff it with the right people. And finally, number 6, launch and evaluate. You're going to want to start small and get some quick wins to prove your value.
Now, here's something that is absolutely crucial to understand. PMOs are not one size fits all. The right model for you depends completely on your company's culture and what you need it to do. So let's look at the different styles you can choose from.
Generally speaking, you've got 3 main flavors of PMO, and it really comes down to their level of control. The first is a supportive PMO. Think of it as a helpful consultant. It offers templates, best practices, that kind of thing. Then you have a controlling PMO, which takes it a step further. It actually requires teams to follow specific standards and frameworks. And finally, there's the directive PMO, which is in full command. It directly manages the projects and even assigns the project managers. Getting this choice right is so key to its success.
Okay, time for a little dose of reality. Building a PMO isn't something that happens overnight. It's not a quick fix, it's an evolution, a journey of getting better and better that really takes time and patience.
So how long are we talking? On average, you should probably plan for about 12 months to get a PMO really up and running. Now, if it's a smaller one, just for one department, maybe you can do it in 6 to 9 months. But for a big, company-wide PMO, that could easily take closer to 18 months. The big takeaway here, you've got to set realistic expectations.
And the journey doesn't just stop when you launch it. A PMO actually matures through different stages. It starts at level 1, where things are usually pretty chaotic and ad hoc. But over time, it moves through creating stability and consistency to becoming a well-managed, data-driven function, all the way up to level 5, where it's all about continuous improvement and innovation for the entire organization.
And this might be the most important piece of advice in this entire thing. You can have the best processes, the best tools in the world, but if you don't earn the trust of the people actually doing the work, your PMO is going to fail. It's not just about process. It's about people, relationships, and really understanding that human side of making a big change.
Whew. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground. So let's boil all of this down to the most critical points, the things you absolutely need to remember if you're thinking about starting this journey.
All right, here's your final checklist. 1. A PMO's #1 job is strategic alignment. That's its reason for being. 2. Getting that executive buy-in is completely non-negotiable. Don't even start without it. And 3, remember, this is all about people. Building trust is every bit as critical as building processes. If you can get these things right, you are well on your way. So at the end of the day, creating a PMO is so much more than just adding a new box to your org chart. It's a deep, fundamental shift in how your whole organization works, how it picks its priorities, and how it turns strategy into reality. So the real question isn't just how you build one, it's whether your organization is truly ready to make that shift.